Here's Steven Crowder responding to Dwayne Wade, who has accepted his trans child, his trans daughter for who she is, which is very offensive to Steven Crowder, who's triggered maybe by a father not accepting somebody for who they are. I'm just guessing. But he makes a comment here. Oh, he makes a comment here that I think we need to make note of. Right-wingers are trying to use the Uvalde massacre at Robb Elementary as a way to undercut public schools as an institution, and Crowder has been aggressive on this. Here he is shoehorning that into this conversation.
Saying that schools are no longer safe. I mean, well, I guess if you count the girls' bathrooms. So this is one of those things they want to. That's the son.
Is it?
Well, I don't know if it's a girl dressed up as a boy. The point is this.
It's his daughter.
She doesn't even agree with him in that clip. Do you notice that? He's like, school is the safest place. She's like, I was waiting to 3 every day. And that implies that she wanted to leave school. And he just continues as like, yeah, I'm just going to continue like you're agreeing with my point.
You're always embarrassed of your parents.
Yeah.
I love how he's like, I can't believe I'm not near my kids in the safest place in the world, L.A.
Right.
I'm just wondering, what school did he go to?
Yeah, like I thought you were, a little more. I thought a little more rough and tumble than that.
No, I don't think he's a basketball player.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, any school wasn't that safe for any reasons.
No, they're not that safe. And by the way, you shouldn't. What he is also conveying there is, school is it's de facto parenting.
Yeah.
Look, you would like to think so, but it's not even necessarily the police's job to keep you safe. You understand that, right? We've seen that. We've seen more stories come on. It's not the schools.
It's not the police's job to keep you safe. So what is their job?
Well, that's the thing is
the crack protesters' skulls.
Yeah. In this country, the people like Steven have basically gotten their way, and that police are mainly to protect property and property owners.
Agents of fascism. All right, check. But now the school's point is interesting.
Right? We've seen that. We see more stories come on. It's not the school's job to guarantee the safety of your child. We'd like to think that they do. It's your job as
aspirational.
A parent. And that's why it's more important to give this.
Your job as a parent. I wonder what the fuck happened at Uvalde when parents get there for driving from 40 minutes away to try to come save their kids, and the cops were kept out of there.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's the parents' fault for sending their kids to school. You can't guarantee anything. Our institutions can really do very little. And so public school, I don't know, maybe it shouldn't exist if it's not there to provide for kids' safety, if it's not guaranteed to keep their kids safe. I mean, like, that is what the natural progression of this is. But I
want to say, like, Crowder also posting that picture of Dwayne Wade's trans daughter and then doing that little, like, thing about it.
Saying that the
black scent and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of when that union guy punched him in the face.
Just thinking about it.
I think that they do. It's your job as a parent. And that's why it's more important to give this authority back to parents. What does the left want to do? The left is against charter schools. The left doesn't believe in school choice, school vouchers. The left has a
Again, okay, charter schools, just ridiculous, because that actually takes power away from the parents because it puts it into private individuals' hands. You have way less authority, you have way less recourse to a charter school than you do public school anyway.
Or against homeschooling. Yeah,
homeschooling.
Be difficult to find an argument, a case to be made for homeschooling in 2022. And then we talk about common ground.
I thought they spent the entire pandemic talking about how it was child abuse that we closed schools and we're doing at-home learning, but maybe I forgot that part. Also, homeschools kids can be abused at home.
I'm watching who's the number one person that's most likely to abuse your child is a close family member. That is the most likely outcome. And I just clicked on a video from Crowder in 2021, why you should homeschool your kids. So just a reminder that this is a part of Crowder's project.
And why you should have actually kids going to schools and learning about things like sex education is so they can stand up to the family members and say, like, actually, I was taught at school that that's unwanted touching. And people like Crowder who have been, and Tulsi Gabbard and all these freaks that have been saying that any sort of discussion about these things leads to child abuse are actually protecting child abusers and making their life a lot easier.
Well, hold on a second. How about common ground? Yeah, we said there's a problem with schools. I know you want to throw more money at it and say that there should not be teachers who are allowed to protect themselves. We just think that maybe public schools, maybe the federal Department of Education is a broken system.
Yeah. So, I mean, sorry to keep talking, but like this, what he sees here is an opportunity to bash schools. So he sees dead kids and it says like, oh, how can I crowbar that into my previously existing policy agenda that basically serves rich people and capitalists that want to own your school, is just make it directly like, yeah, we just need to not do schools.
And what's implicit in, or what's beneath his statement there is blaming the parents for sending their children to public school because they should have known that their kid would not be safe in those hands and that they could have gotten gunned down and massacred beyond recognition at their school. That's like something that he knows will get him banned from YouTube, but that's what he's trying to get his audience to connect the dots on.
Yeah, and you brought up Dwayne Wade, and I'll play this clip from Dwayne Wade in a second. But I think like that case is, I believe, Dwayne Wade's child in their gender makeup. I think Steven Crowder and all the freaks like Ben Shapiro who thinks it's just mental illness. They're like the freaks. Like they're the absolute freaks that should be shunned from society.
They're the ones that say they're protecting children while on his wildly popular YouTube show he's showing photos of an underage child with their father just for no purpose except to demonize that child.
And what they want to do, and they want to ruin that child's life because we have gotten to a point in civilization where we're able to have kids transition socially in schools if they feel like the gender they were assigned at birth isn't the one that they feel comfortable in. I think that's a great thing. I think it's frankly marvelous when I see like younger kids in school react with acceptance to the things that my generation would have just accepted with just bigotry. That's great. And that's the problem.
Was it Loomis that spoke at that Wyoming university graduation and got booed for saying anti-trans garbage? Because this is the younger generation is not willing to entertain this BS except for groups of incel, very online, honestly, young men who feel empowered and feel like their masculinity is bolstered when other people's gender identity and the fluidity between those things is not challenged.
Yeah, and so all these folks that are like, and Dwayne Wade's a child is a great example of like a beautiful case where a child is empowered to take control of their own identity. And you have a situation now where like that should be the norm and that should be allowed. And then this whole puberty blockers thing where it's like, we're going to investigate Dwayne Wade for child abuse if they do anything like that, because, which again, like just to how important that sort of thing is, you allow this child to transition into socially transition. Puberty blockers are insanely important because you allowed them to socially transition to a gender, and now they're going to go into puberty into a gender that they don't identify with.
Yeah.
That is extreme violence. Like that, it's insane that, like David said, we've moved from the fucking discussion of women's sports leaderboards to this insane violence. It is eugenics. Like eugenics is what like they want. This is a eugenic project against trans people. And here's Dwayne Wade talking about his advice
with his wife Gabrielle Union,
who are
parents. Both seemingly like two of the better celebrities.
And they're probably going to need a lot of defense going forward because they're going to come under increasing attack from these freaks.
I just have to thank you because you've been amazing with your daughter. It's pretty incredible. What keeps you going, fighting for her?
Just being a father and just seeing our child grow up every day and doing what you're supposed to do as a parent is to make sure that you sit back and, you see what it is in life that they want to do, and you try to go there with them and try to help them mold them into what it is they want to be and who they want to be. So we're just doing our part, as parents. And we love our kids, and we get to see them every day. That's what people on the outside don't get to see, but we know them and we see them all the time. So.
Yeah, and we believe them when they tell us who they are.
What do you say to a dad out there whose daughter has just come home and said, I'm trans? What do you say to that dad?
Well, I say the moment when you were in the hospital and you grabbed your daughter and you looked at your daughter and all the things that went through your mind, all the emotions that went through your mind, and how much love filled your heart at that moment. Don't let that ever leave you, no matter what. Like, the one thing as parents, what we do is we find our mini-me's and we try to make them just like us. But just understand, like, our kids are going to be who they are. It's our job to help mold them and help try to, push them in the right places that they want to go. But just remember that moment, what you said in that hospital that day they were born.
They're great parents, great people.
And the thing that Gabrielle says there about believe them when they say this, there's this implication by all the anti-trans folks, whether it's as vile as Crowder and Matt Walsh, or as I guess I don't know, as Jesse Singal, is that like this is some sort of mind virus, and it's leading kids to no, this is parents learning to accept things that they wouldn't have had any sort of vocabulary to accept. The idea that like Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Reunion got together and like we want to influence this child to be trans is just insulting.
Insane.
It's ignorant. It's appalling, and it's the marching orders of the right wing right now.
And I just want to point out how Crowder was talking about, how essentially he doesn't believe in public education as an institution. He thinks it's rotten from its core. That is a fundamental right-wing ideology. They want more funding for police because in that case, even though that's a clearly dysfunctional and overfunded organization in society, more funding is going to help them be even more functional, right? Let's pour more money into police. But with an underfunded education department, which has been the project of the right for decades and decades, when it starts to have cracks, that is evidence of now it's time to privatize. So for them, they're unable, you can't square that circle logically, frankly, but they still try to do it. And unfortunately for public education, because it's been embraced, charter schools have been embraced by liberals in certain areas of this country. It's been one of the many stories of rhetorical success of the neoliberal project being embraced by the Democratic Party. And the chicken's coming home to roost there, because we should not be in any way supportive of charter schools broadly as an institution.
Yeah, also Crowder's a Canadian, so maybe he doesn't know this, but being against public school in this country makes you a Confederacy supporter, in my opinion.
Well, frankly, he might own that if it was a little bit, if it was behind the paywall. And
I would actually love to talk
his.
to Stephen Crowder about the Civil War.
We would love to talk to him at all.
Yeah.
Join us.
He runs away
Steve.
every time, so.
We'll send you a link.